In the early 1960s, one man infiltrated the highest levels of the Syrian government. He attended secret military meetings, hosted powerful generals, and gained access to some of the most sensitive defense plans in the country. But no one in Damascus suspected the truth. The man they trusted was actually one of Mossad's most dangerous spies. His name was Eli Cohen. Eli Cohen was born in 1924 in the vibrant Mediterranean city of Alexandria, Egypt. The city was a melting pot of cultures, languages, and religions, where Arabs, Jews, Greeks, and Europeans lived side by side. Growing up in this diverse environment, Cohen learned to navigate different cultures and languages with ease. These early experiences would later become one of his greatest strengths as a spy. In the late 1950s, Cohen moved to the young state of Israel. Like many immigrants, he was searching for opportunity and a sense of belonging in a rapidly developing country. At first, his life was ordinary, but intelligence officers soon realized that Cohen possessed something rare: fluency in Arabic and deep knowledge of Middle Eastern society. During the early 1960s, tensions between Israel and Syria were escalating. Syrian forces were strengthening their military defenses along the Golan Heights. Israel urgently needed reliable intelligence from inside Syria. That was when Mossad decided to recruit a man capable of infiltrating the Syrian. Before beginning his mission, Cohen underwent extensive training. Mossad officers trained him in covert communication, surveillance techniques, and psychological manipulation. Every detail of his future identity had to be carefully constructed. Mossad created a new identity for him. He would become Kamel Amin Thaabet, a wealthy Syrian businessman who had lived abroad for many years. The plan was simple but dangerous: build a reputation, gain trust, and quietly move into the inner circles of Syrian power. Before entering Syria, Eli Cohen needed to build a convincing identity that would allow him to move freely among influential Syrians. Mossad created a new persona for him: Kamel Amin Thaabet, a wealthy Syrian businessman who had spent years living abroad. In the early 1960s, Cohen traveled to Buenos Aires, Argentina, where a large Syrian expatriate community lived. There, he carefully began building relationships with Syrian diplomats, businessmen, and political figures. Through elegant dinners, lively conversations, and strategic friendships, Cohen slowly established himself as a respected and patriotic Syrian citizen. By the time he prepared to travel to Damascus, his cover identity was already deeply convincing. Once inside Damascus, Eli Cohen quickly gained the trust of influential Syrian officials. His home became a gathering place where military officers, politicians, and businessmen often met to discuss national affairs. During these conversations, Cohen carefully listened and observed, collecting valuable information about Syria's military plans and strategic defenses. But the most dangerous part of his mission began after those meetings ended. Late at night, when the city was quiet, Cohen would secretly transmit coded messages to his handlers in Israel. These transmissions contained critical intelligence about Syrian troop movements, military installations, and defensive positions along the Golan Heights. For Israel, this information was priceless. During his time in Syria, Cohen frequently visited military installations along the strategic Golan Heights. In conversations with Syrian officers, he made what seemed like an innocent suggestion. He proposed planting trees near defensive bunkers to provide shade for soldiers stationed under the hot Middle Eastern sun. Syrian commanders agreed to the idea, and rows of trees were planted near many of the fortifications. Years later, those same trees reportedly helped Israeli forces identify Syrian military positions during the Six-Day War. At the time, sending radio transmissions from within a capital city carried enormous risk. Intelligence agencies across the world were developing technology capable of locating illegal transmitters. Syrian counterintelligence eventually began detecting unusual radio signals moving through Damascus. Determined to locate their source, they used mobile detection units to scan neighborhoods across the city. With each search, the signals led them closer to the apartment of the man they believed to be Kamel Amin Thaabet. For years, the man known as Kamel Amin Thaabet had moved freely among Syria's most powerful officials. But now the intelligence services were closing in. In January 1965, Syrian security forces stormed the apartment of the man they believed to be Kamel Amin Thaabet. Inside, they discovered radio transmitters, coded messages, and evidence of a sophisticated espionage operation. The man they had trusted as a loyal Syrian patriot was in fact an Israeli spy. Eli Cohen was immediately arrested and taken into custody for interrogation. For weeks, Syrian authorities questioned him about his activities and the intelligence network he had built inside the country. News of the arrest quickly spread across the region, shocking both Syria and Israel. After a highly publicized trial in Damascus, Eli Cohen was sentenced to death. On May 18, 1965, he was executed in Damascus's Marjah Square. His final words reportedly expressed loyalty to Israel and hope for peace in the region. Even today, his story remains one of the most remarkable intelligence operations in modern history. 6 decades after Eli Cohen's execution in Damascus, new developments brought renewed attention to his story. In 2025, the Israeli intelligence agency Mossad announced that it had successfully recovered thousands of documents and personal items belonging to Cohen from Syria in a covert operation. According to Israeli officials, the operation retrieved an entire Syrian intelligence archive related to Cohen's espionage activities. The archive reportedly contained around 2,500 items, including photographs from his undercover years in Damascus, forged passports used during his mission, and personal belongings seized after his arrest. Among the most emotional discoveries were handwritten letters Cohen had written to his family, as well as his final will, drafted just hours before his execution in May 1965. The recovered materials were later presented to Cohen's widow, Nadia, during a ceremony marking the 60th anniversary of his execution. Israeli officials described the recovery as an important step in preserving the historical record of one of the most remarkable intelligence missions of the 20th century. Investigators continue to search for information that might one day reveal the location of Cohen's burial site. Eli Cohen entered Syria as a businessman, but he left history as one of the most legendary spies of the 20th century. Even 60 years after his death, the story of Eli Cohen continues to unfold, reminding the world that the secrets of espionage rarely remain buried forever.